So despite the good feelings and FaceTimes and whatever's going on in Miami, which sounds very fun, no deal is close between Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens at this moment. So what happens next if Lamar Jackson and the Ravens can't work out a long-term deal by the time the draft rolls around?
Right when we're getting excited for the Ravens, Jason, take us right back down.
Well, the excitement is Ian finished it off, and he said it looks like Lamar will be playing for the Baltimore Ravens in 2023. Will be, we will see. But at this point, the draft is no type of deadline in this entire situation. For Lamar Jackson, he was already franchise tagged. He's not a free agent. So it's not a matter of fact that, well, Lamar needs to find a way to negotiate this long-term deal with the Ravens, because if not, he's free. No, he's franchised and he's going to play for the Ravens or not play at all. You'll see it there. July 17th is the deadline for them to work out a long-term extension, a multi-year deal. They have all the way until the summer before the beginning of training camp to do so. In the event he doesn't, maybe he comes and he shows up and he does a hold-in that we've seen in the past where guys eventually get a deal done. We haven't really seen that from the quarterback position, though. At the same time, that franchise tender, Lamar has all the way until November after week 10 of the season to sign his franchise tender. Now, if he chooses to hold out all the way until November to sign that, once the regular season starts, he'd be missing $1.8 million per game where he's not there. I don't know that Lamar is willing to do that. I think over the recent history we've seen from him, he's willing to go out there and play. We saw him last year play on his deal where he didn't have anything in the future. He still went out there with his guys and played, went through an injury, but still went out there and did so. So I think at this point, if I'm looking at it, Lamar is going to play this season. If it's only under the franchise tag and he's going to make his $30 million for 1 year with Odell Beckham and himself, Ravens fans enjoy it because next year will bring something different probably. But I do not think Lamar is going to hold out and say, hey, I'm just not going to play football in 2023. Do I know anything special? Am I in his camp? Absolutely not. But from my own opinion, I do not think he holds out.
You've been a longtime member of the NFLPA, and you're one of their leaders. Like when we talk about, like, does anyone say, hey, we should counsel Lamar? What's the feeling from the PA side as far as Lamar Jackson goes and how he's negotiating this on his own?
Continue to reach out to him and talk to him. I think those are ongoing communications, ongoing conversations. I think from an NFLPA standpoint, it's, hey, Lamar, we're here for you. Whatever you need. Contracts from other quarterbacks, counsel. I think that's the standpoint. And each individual player has the right, whether it's with an agent, whether it's by himself, to handle his business the way he sees fit. But as a union, continue to be there for Lamar just like any other player.
Because I ask it, and I'm not putting you on the spot with that. Yeah. I ask it because you say that, I don't think he's going to want to miss the $32 million, yet Josh Allen signed his deal 2 years ago, same time Lamar was offered a deal. Josh Allen has made $68 million in cash. That's his over those 2 years since Lamar got his. Lamar has not squandered that money, but he hasn't made that money yet, and he's hoping that he's going to get a giant windfall at the end. I don't know if the Ravens are going to offer that giant windfall. And I think almost going out and getting Odell is almost an olive branch saying, okay, you're not getting the Deshaun Watson money, but what we're going to do is we're going to give you everything we possibly can to help make the deal that we've already presented on the table even better. We're going to sweeten the pot. If he doesn't sign by the draft, I think they have to at least consider, okay, this is a chessboard. Do we take a quarterback in the first round? And I don't think Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud will be available, obviously, in the top 20, at 22 where they are now. But do you move up if some of those 3, 4, 5 guys move down? I look at Will Levis. I look at Anthony Richardson. I look at, of course, Hendon Hooker, who's going to likely be there at 22 for them if they want to do that. And do you say, okay, we've done all this. We've been negotiating for 3 years. Will Levis is sitting there at 14. Do we trade up and go get him and give up a future third? Like, Will Levis is sitting there at 17. Do we move up and move 5 spots up and get him? Or Anthony Richardson's there at 20. Do we go up 2 spots? To just say, hey, these guys slipped, opportunity knocks, and we're going to just give ourselves an insurance plan because Ian's message yesterday, and he said it on McAfee again, was that, that it sounds like there was some sort of breadcrumbs that this is going to happen because of the Odell deal and that this. I have learned while covering Lamar Jackson the last 3 years, specifically in the off seasons, we can't just assume anything. So to me, if we get all the way to the draft, and that's a solid 2.5 weeks from now, and we still don't have a deal in place with Lamar Jackson, I think you have to at least consider drafting a quarterback in the first round and maybe light a fire, or maybe it's time to move on because we're trying everything and this negotiation's going nowhere.
It's tough for the Ravens and what they represent and what he means to that region to say to their fans, we drafted Will Levis in the first round.
I know.
But I don't think they want to. But I think they draft Will Levis in the first round. They're out of Lamar Jackson.
They're done.
They're moving on. Like, it's over one way or another. You don't draft a guy and then just not.
And you say to your fans, we tried our hardest. We did everything we possibly could, and we didn't want to be left with nothing at quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so unusual. Even just, we're seeing him out at clubs with Odell, and he requested a trade. He says, I don't want to be on this team anymore. Trade me. Just a few weeks ago, as far as we know. And, as far as sweetening the pot, that's how Peter phrased it. I think it's really savvy by the Ravens. I really do. I think that we've tried everything under the sun. Let's go buy him a toy. That's what they did. Just throw a toy out there. But I still think it's a trap for Lamar. I wouldn't do it. I think this, I do. I think this, they take the stick in the box and you pull the string.
Yeah.
I think that Odell is in that box, and they're going to. If you are that principled and feel that strongly for 2 years about this is my worth and this is my value and I represent something to myself and my position and my brothers and my league, they got a 1-year deal for Odell. You're going to come sprinting away from that? Yes. Like, this is not. They did not sign Tyreek Hill to a 3-year deal to be a Baltimore Raven. 1 year with Odell with 2 knee injuries and going to be 31 years old. This is not some Super Bowl ticket that's waiting to be cashed. I would say to Lamar, eyes on the prize, man. Do not be tantalized by us constantly running Odell footage and one-handed catches, and that's really fun and it's sexy, but that's gonna break your staring contest with the Ravens, that they went and got a bunch of money, I think a wildly irresponsible contract from the Ravens for $15 million to pay Odell. I wouldn't break the staring contest. Eyes on the prize, do whatever you have to do. That's not gonna get me out of my camp because Odell is there now. I'm not gonna do it. I would say stay focused.
So stay focused and potentially sit out for the season?
Anything's on the table. Jason says he doesn't think he's going to do it, and that's an educated guess. I'd be shocked if he did it. But in the same way, I wouldn't be shocked if he did. Yeah. I think he's capable of anything. I think it's so mysterious, and I think it's so important to him, and he feels like he represents something more than just his situation. And I think if he did hold out, there'd be a lot of people, a lot of your brethren who are like, yes, Lamar, stand for something. Yeah. I believe it.
He would need the support of the other quarterbacks, the Justin Herberts,
the guys who are looking for
the those guys have.
Is it a sign of defeat or concession if he says, you know what, I'll come back and play 1 year, $32 million?
Yeah, and also, what a ridiculous risk that he'd be taking.
It's a huge risk.
Huge.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
I really think that the Ravens will get a deal done by the time the draft rolls around. I think that this was maybe one of the last things that they needed to get over the hump, and now they'll get to the money that will make sense for both them and Lamar. Because otherwise, if you get to that point at the draft, then it's like, okay, well, are they going to trade with the Colts? Is that the alternative? And I don't know if that necessarily is a better situation for Lamar. Maybe it is with Shane Steichen, and we've seen his work with Jalen Hurts in the past, but they have Jonathan Taylor there. They really don't have a ton of receivers. Michael Pittman, but beyond him, they liked their rookie last year, Alec Pierce. But I think that not having Greg Roman in Baltimore, having a switch at the offensive coordinator, which we talked a little bit about yesterday, and now bringing in another guy, there seems to be all of these pieces, the puzzle pieces that they're putting together, and it leads me to believe that they will have a deal done in short order here.
See, I could be courting a woman on a date, and I could say, well, I got the nice suit, and I have the great job, and on paper, I've done everything right. But if you don't have the agreement from the other side of it, we have no indication that this is what Lamar wanted. So for us, we're like, oh, on paper, all right, Monken, Odell, you got this guaranteed money. But all we're looking for is Lamar to be like, all right, that's what I was looking for.
Can I tell you an observation about you, Peter? I feel like every time a trade suggestion comes up at the table, you cringe. And I think maybe it's because you don't think it's likely or not possible. I think you hate them.
I just can't imagine.
Why do you hate trades, Peter?
I hate Baltimore.
The Lamar trade, I mean.
Lamar.
Yeah, you can't
see it happening. To just say we have to. All right, at the end of the day, we're gonna trade him away. It means that you couldn't figure it out. It's a failure. A failure to not be able to figure this thing out.
1,000%.
What do you think is tougher though? Baltimore is saying we're going to trade Lamar, or whoever the trade partner would be working out a long-term deal with Lamar. Because if they're going to trade him, a deal there's no point of trading for him, giving up 2 firsts, and you don't have a long-term deal.
I think it's so complicated. It's different. He's not a player under contract. He's a free agent. There's the franchise tag. There's 2 first-round picks that have to go with it, and the negotiation of the deal. It's a circus to get through to even make that happen. And then once it's done, it's like, really? Like, we traded Lamar Jackson? Really?
It doesn't make any sense. I hate it too. The only indication we have of any movement right now is the post from Lamar Jackson that is the 2 lightning bolts and a rocket ship. And that's really it. That's all we've heard so far. That's the only movement.
Listen, I got sick to my stomach when you were talking about the Ravens drafting Will Levis. I like Will Levis.
I know.
It's not about him. It's just like, oh my God, that's how the Lamar era ends.
It's a white flag. We couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You just said you're courting a young lady. You got one night only. Lamar, Odell Beckham, 1 year only, baby. Let's go.